Secondary education can have skills for employment and can actually be engaged in solving their own problems and coming up with solutions for their own lives.
As it said, it is a generation without limitations. At the global level, our president is the co-chair with the UN Secretary General and the president of Trinidad and Tobago. And at the global level, as co-chair, we want to implement Generation Unlimited in Rwanda, but it stands specifically for focusing on empowering young people. And in this case, young people is someone between 10 and 24. And it includes children and young people.
Generation Limited, it is based on the principle, nothing for youth without youth. And youth at the driver's seat and playing the leadership role.
One of the major aims is to ensure that young people themselves will be central parents of this initiative in order to take up an active role in creating a better, well-educated and empowered society.
Generation Unlimited will help young people be better equipped with education, skills, with principal knowledge in order for young people to innovate, to be ready for employment, to create jobs, to create wealth, and contribute better to the development of this country.
Well, the real idea of Generation Unlimited is to identify a number of focus areas in a country, and then to identify a number of high-end solutions that are proven to work that we know can also be scaled up. And we will then use those solutions with private sector, with government, to find ways to reach as many young people as possible.
And it is focusing on mostly on education, which is skilling. It focuses on engagement of young people so that they can have productive meaning in their communities. It is also focusing on transition from school to work, which is also focusing on job creation. That is entrepreneurship and employability. So these programs, which are threefold, focusing on education, which is skills development, and also focusing on engaging and civic participation of young people, and at the same time employment and entrepreneurship.
Digital access for the youth, secondary education, youth participation and civil engagement are some of the areas that Generation Unlimited will focus on, amongst others. The initiative targets how the youth can acquire the proper skills to transition into workforce after receiving secondary education and the right skills set.
There's always a problem between, or a gap between, when you complete school and when you join the labor market. It has been so slow over time, not only in Rwanda but globally. We are strategizing to put in place strategies that can help them by providing some of the soft skills that they need. Some of the research skills that they can identify. How do you identify an opportunity? How do you develop that opportunity? How do you develop your skills?
They need to learn how to market themselves, so to speak, how to work in a work professional environment, how to take initiative. And these are things that young people often need to learn in a work environment. And so kids need these opportunities when they're young, also when expectations are young, so that we as adults understand we're not expecting them to perform as a 25 or a 30 or a 35-year-old, but we're giving them the chance to have the exposure.
The Rwandan government has invested unlimited efforts in empowering the youth and putting them at the forefront of the country's development agenda, which makes Rwanda a perfect spot for the implementation of Generation Unlimited initiative.
Well, we have a wonderful system already here in Rwanda, the National Youth Councils, which are not just at national level, but also go all the way down to the village level. So that's an excellent existing mechanism that can be used for young people, not just to do volunteer work to help out, but also to broaden that forum so that it's a space where young people can give their ideas, give their opinions.
Let me say to young people in Rwanda that they are very lucky. And I do think that Rwanda is uniquely placed to successfully implement the Generation Unlimited. The President of the Republic is a global champion of this initiative. We do have already strong programs on youth. From the UN side, I could highlight the joint program on youth, including Youth Connect, iAccelerator, the innovation lab, and all the elements that are important in supporting what already we are doing with young people.
After this launch, different stakeholders ranging from the public to private sector are set to join hands to ensure that all young people can have access to secondary education, acquire the right skill set and training, so that by 2030 they all might be employed.
It is a generation unlimited. You can go to the sky. It's not even the limit anymore.
After Generation Unlimited is launched today, Thursday, over the next weeks, we will be working to identify those solutions, to identify what it will cost to scale them up, so that we can then say to private sector, to government, to multilateral development banks, these are the things that we know work. These are the things that we think we should invest in to make sure that we reach as many young people as possible.
So young people in Rwanda, be bold, speak out, transform your ideas into action, and make sure that you contribute as usual to the development of your country and the development of the world. You are connected, you are imaginative, you are innovative, and you have the drive to build resilience and to build your communities. We count on you, you can count on anyone. Abishide amwe na kibananira turi kumwe.
Wow, what an insightful video. Now, the young people of today, the world today counts over 18 billion people all over the world who are very young, and these people require the right set of skills to be able to tackle the different challenges that they face, whether it is mental illness, whether it is the lack to digital access, and so much more. Well, Generation Unlimited Rwanda is going to be bringing that to the young people out there, and we're excited to find out how these young people are going to learn. So today we're convened to celebrate the launch of Generation Unlimited Rwanda, and who better to join us than young leaders all over the country, and also those who are going to be joining us through WebEx to talk about how the young people of today can be able to come up with solutions and be able to solve the issues that the young people are faced all over the world and in society as well. So today I'm going to be joined by young panelists, and right here in Studio One, I'm going to be joined by Mrs. Arlette Akinjene, who is a mental health advocate. Thank you so much, Ms. Arlette, for joining us. Please say something before we dive into the discussion.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and to take part in the discussion.
Are you excited for Generation Unlimited Rwanda?
Excited.
We cannot wait to dive into more. And on my left hand, I am joined by Mr. Innocent Iradukunda, who is an IPRC instructor, trainer, and former student. Hello, Mr. Innocent.
Hi, hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great and happy to join this discussion.
Thank you so much. What are you looking forward to most during this discussion?
Okay, at the end of this discussion, I wish each generation, youth along the world, especially in our country, are able, they are coming up with the brilliant ideas and so as to solve different problems and challenges they used to face in their daily life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And up in the studio, we're also going to be joined by Mr. Boris Karenzi, who is a student at Kagarama Secondary School. Hi, Boris.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Are you excited for this session?
I'm excited.
What are you looking forward to most?
I'm looking forward to having a talk of where we're going to be talking about the skills and the better awareness that our young generation wants, hence having a good talk today. So I'm here and I'm pleased to be with you guys. Thank you so much.
We're very pleased to be with young leaders as well. And lastly, in the studio, we're going to also be joined by Mr. Origen Igiraneza, who is CEO of Orgenius Ed, which is an ed tech platform. How are you, Mr. Origen?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. How are you feeling?
Great, so I feel so empowered. I mean, this is a great conversation talking about issues that are facing youth and how we are going to be part of the solution making. So it's exciting.
Thank you. What are you looking forward to most to find out during Generation Unlimited Rwanda? And we're going to be speaking to various people. What are you looking forward to the most?
One of the things I will be looking forward most is maybe to enlighten some of my fellow youth about the opportunities that are outside here that they can leverage on, and also how they can be part of this big global movement.
Definitely, there are very many opportunities out there, and it's up to us to go out and look for them as we strive to make our society even better. So we're also going to be joined virtually from Nairobi by Mr. Mohammed Fall, who is the Regional Director of UNICEF, who will provide a regional perspective on the prospect for young people across Africa and the opportunities the Generation Unlimited program will create for them. Hello, Mr. Mohammed Fall.
Hello, happy and proud to be with you.
Thank you so much. Would you like to say anything just before we dive into the discussion?
No, just looking forward to the great discussion with a very insightful video we have started with. I think the stage is well set.
Thank you so much for joining us, and feel free to weigh in on whenever you feel like, and we would love to hear from what you would be able to tell us about Generation Unlimited Rwanda and how the society, as well as the youth most especially, can learn and grow from Generation Unlimited.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We are also joined virtually by Honorable Minister Rosemary Mbabazi, who is the Minister of Youth and Culture, who will also provide perspective on how Generation Unlimited will unlock new opportunities for the young people in Rwanda and what to expect. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We cannot wait to learn so much more. And is there anything else you'd like to add before we dive into the discussion?
I'm so eager and excited to hear what the young people expect from this program, and also looking forward to the partnership.
And we cannot wait to dive into the discussion. Now, before we dive into the discussion, we have a small clip from Art Rwanda Ubuhanzi. And I mean, life would not be very interesting if we didn't have the creative and artistic industry with us. Take a look at a performance by Art Rwanda Ubuhanzi and let it soothe you as we get ready to dive into Generation Unlimited launch.
Hello everybody, this is Art Rwanda Ubuhanzi team. We hope that you're going to enjoy this. Thank you so much.
Ni wowe uruhura barushye ukabarinda ukabaha amahoro masa. Ni wowe ufite amagambo meza y'ubugingo. Mwami iyo ndushye urandura nababara ukanezeza. Ni wowe uvuga bikaba wategeka bigakomera. Ni wowe twiringiye Mwami iyo ndushye urandura nababara ukanezeza. Ni wowe uvuga bikaba wategeka bigakomera. Ni wowe twiringiye. Ni wowe uruhura barushye ukabarinda ukabaha amahoro masa. Ni wowe ufite amagambo meza y'ubugingo. Ni wowe ugaburira inyoni. Ni wowe wambika uburabyo. Ni wowe utubeshejeho. Ni wowe ukabarinda ukaba amahoro masa ni wowe ufite amagambo meza y'ubugingo ni wowe urura barushye ni wowe wambika uburabyo ni wowe uvuga bikaba ni wowe urura barushye ukabarinda ukaba amahoro masa ni wowe ufite amagambo meza y'ubugingo
Wow, what a great way to initiate the Generation Unlimited Rwanda in a way of celebrating the different artists out there and having an opportunity to also explore their talents, which is what we're also trying to discuss right here. So we're about to enter into the discussion, and I'd also like to invite the people joining us through WebEx, Skype, and different social media platforms to feel free to weigh in on the discussions that we're going to be having. We want this to be very conversant, and also the officials who are with us, please feel free to give us more insightful messages so that we can have also some sort of direction. Thank you so much for the people out there. So we're going to be discussing about the importance of providing young people with mental health awareness and also supporting them in different ways that we possibly can. We're also going to be discussing about the different opportunities that lie between digital access and also providing the young people with access to different means in which they can be able to contribute to the society. We'll also be speaking about how a student leader can be able to enact change in their society. So, are you guys ready to dive into this conversation? Yes. Those with me and those in Studio One and those who are joining us through WebEx, you're welcome, and let's dive right into it. Yes. So I'm going to be starting with you, Mr. Innocent Iradukunda.
Yes,
you are a trainer at IPRC, right?
Yes, right.
First of all, how does it feel to be training young people in that sort of field?
Okay, thank you so much for the good question. I'm very excited to be a trainer, especially in higher learning institution, providing technical schools.
Definitely.
Especially in IPRCs or integrated polytechnic regional centers, we used to provide hands-on skills. Mm-hmm. As you can see in different videos which have been highlighted here, you can see that TVET is at the forefront of development of every aspect. Even this country want to empower this TVET sector so as to train young minds, young youth, so as to become job creators instead of being job seekers.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you as a trainer,
yeah.
you are with these students,
yeah.
you know what they go through, you know yeah. the hardships that they mostly experience.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that these students go through as they're trying to enact change in society? What do you think they go through?
Okay, thank you so much for the good question. Actually, our students in our campus, IPRS Kigali, we used to train them in different aspects, either in theory and practice. In that practical parts, which I deliver on myself mm-hmm. and other trainers, so it's helped them just to be job creators. Let me give you an example. We have an innovation club. Mm-hmm. In partnership with the trainers and the students,
yeah.
we used to put our effort together so as to come up with different products which are making changes to the society, which are impacting the society. Actually, the challenges they used to face, first of all, there's low level of resources, mm-hmm. or insufficiency of resources.
Yes, definitely.
Sometimes they have ideas, they try to put their ideas into practice. They make prototypes, and those prototypes we request, or we in partnership with private sector, we actually work hand in hand so as those ideas come to physical product which is going to be used in the society.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I also know that you were a former student leader.
Sure.
What did you learn from your time as being a leader, and do you think it made you were you more empowered by the role that you were taking upon, and how did it feel to have that sort of trust being put on you?
Excellent question. Actually, my background, I've been nurtured by NCC, National Children Commission. Where when I was at 9 age,
yeah.
You understand, from that time till now, I've been those generation,
yes.
In those different youth
an empowered
platforms.
Generation, yeah.
Okay, so this is also that was one of things that empowered me. Not only that, when I was in high school, I was also a school leader, a student leader,
yeah.
University level. We did different things. Let me just say something. In IPRC, where I was a former student leader, We used, as I can see, as I described later, we used to have technical skills. And in Rwanda, in general, we used to have Umuganda. In that campus, initiated a special Umuganda where we used our skills and experience just to have a special Umuganda. We worked hand in hand with local communities leaders so as to help the vulnerable people from the scratch to the final product.
Yes.
For example, civil engineers are going to build the house, the electrician come to install, and then submit the finished product.
Yes.
So that's one of the things we did, and I think in those leadership platforms I was in, it empowered me, and actually invite all the youth just to join those platforms, because
Definitely, yes.
it is a very good platform to empower them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm sure you were an inspiration to the young people that you were leading, as well as those that you continue to train day to day.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Ms. Akhlet, have you been a leader before?
Yeah.
Yes?
I have been. Actually, I think we have similar journey where I've also been participating in the Children's Summit, National Children's Summit.
Yes.
But at my high school, I've been in different leadership positions, so including being a head girl. But when I also went to university for my passion for health, I was the minister of health at my school. So where I feel like leadership is like how you participate in every activity. So even in other areas where I'm not at the top, I feel like I've been able to develop leadership skills.
And definitely, and I mean, the youth of today are the future leaders of tomorrow, and we can even start right now. So what better way to do that than to take up leadership roles and be the change in society that we want to see in, as we grow. Yeah, so let me move on to the studio. Let's talk to Mr. Boris Karenzi. How is everything?
It's not.
You're okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us once again. So I would like to ask you, how can young people use their skills and voices to be able to affect change in their society and as well as their surrounding? You being a student in Kagarama Secondary High School, have you ever faced that challenge? Have you overcome it? Are you trying to enact change yourself? What's the situation?
Yes, I've tried to face that challenge. But what I can say is there is still a problem of mindset, where people can see the younger generation as a people that are not able to do some bigger opportunities, e.g. jobs and etc. But then what I really think that happened at that time is they were still having the mindset of saying I'm still young, but then the capabilities and potentials put me in different fields, right? What we need to do as a younger generation is us to promote awareness again, sensitization again, but then enact change by putting different ourselves in different fields. That is, we can help our parents be put in their businesses. We can help our parents in doing things that are relevant to what we study at school, and which is something more important to us and our parents and the society at large. So let's remove the mindset of saying that we are young, but then we improve on the mindset of saying the younger generation is capable and has the potentials. Thank you.
I definitely agree with you, and also maybe my panelists can be able to weigh in that issue of mindset. Some of the youth out there believe that if I'm not going to do it, someone else probably will. Or there is also an issue of procrastination, which I'm sure we tend to go through. I mean, we're not all perfect. So how do you think we can tackle that issue of procrastination, and also believing that I'm sure if I'm not going to do it, someone else will. My neighbor will do it. I mean, there are 18 million youth in the world. I'm sure if I'm not going to be a leader, someone else will. How can we tackle that issue? And you guys can be able to weigh in on that and give me your opinions.
Well, how we can be able to solve this problem is, let's give a chance the younger generation, right? Let's give them a platform. Let's give them a field of work. Let's give them the opportunity to work accordingly and do these things. Because even if they get mistaken about different things, you can still teach them. And this is how they're going to grow, in the way you grow too. You're not going to leave a kid back at home to sit back at home, eat food, but then doesn't do something productive. You must let them follow their passion. At times, that is also needed. Because if a child is a public speaker, let them go to different camps. Let them go to upskill their potentials. Let them go to different fields again where they can meet other people and share skills. Let them know that they are capable. That is when they will have to say that if I don't do this, then there is no one doing that. So the younger generation needs a motivation from the elder generation where they're going to be telling them that you're capable and you can do this, and then the younger generation weighs in their potentials and then moves on forward to the development of the country as a whole.
Definitely, which I'm sure Generation Unlimited Rwanda is going to be doing. They're going to be providing the support that the youth of today need to be able to feel confident and take the step forward to look for these opportunities, to be able to have access to digital tech, and to be able to have the right skill set to go out and look for jobs out there, employment opportunities, which I'm sure Generation Unlimited is going to be doing. But it's up to us, as well as the support from the government and different entities, to be able to do that. So let's dive into mental health. Now, mental health is definitely, and before I even dive into further, can we know what mental health or what is it exactly? Because many people tend to think it's possibly an illness, or others think it's a disability. And you, as a mental health advocate, I'm sure you possibly have more information to that.
Yeah. Thanks, Martina. And I think it's the reality is that there is no consensus on actually the definition of mental health.
Yes, definitely.
And but some of the definition have mentioned that mental health is encompasses your social, emotionally and psychological well-being, and that affects the way you relate with people, the way you work, the way you cope with stress. So mental health, you could have a positive mental health, or you could have you could be struggling with your mental health. And sometimes we have stressors in life, and there are expected reactions that you would have when you face any life-challenging situation. So, for example, if you lose someone, it's expected that you're going to be sad. But then it becomes a mental illness when it's becoming repetitive, but also it's interfering with your day-to-day life. So that's where maybe I can make a clarification between the mental health and mental illness.
Thank you so much. So you, as a youth advocate for mental health, what are some of the challenges that people who go through such such issues such as mental health, what do they go through? How do they feel? Are they judged by society? And how can we better their involvement in society? How can we make them feel included so that they too can understand that it's not a disability, it's not an illness, but we can overcome it together?
That's a big question in itself.
We can break it down.
But yeah, I'll break it down. So we can start with the challenges that young people who struggle with mental health issues are facing. And I think the first one that most of us know is the stigma. Mental health issues are still considered as a Western thing. Yeah. When I'm suffering for a certain mental illness, or I'm struggling emotionally, it's always people always perceive it as, oh, how come? That's not Rwandan. We do not have
that. It's not African.
It's not. Thank you.
Yes,
it's not African. So there is still that stigma that it's a Western thing, and also I feel like there is that perception that we are a spoiled generation. We have everything. Why are we struggling? But I think it's time that we realize that there are other challenges that as young people we are facing. There is unemployment. It's a big issue for the young people. So if I'm struggling mentally, I have reason to be. But also another challenge is the limited access to mental health services and drugs. And it's commendable for the government of Rwanda that it has started to integrate mental health services in the different levels of healthcare, so at district level, even on community level, where community health workers have been trained. But I think that we still have a gap, and especially some private clinics still not providing mental health services. But also some insurance is not covering that. So, but I also want to touch on like people living with disability. If someone lives with a disability of not hearing or not speaking, like how do we have? I don't think we have services in place to support them. So we shouldn't actually look like youth as a global, we also as a whole. So we also need to like find like the particular groups within youth and make sure that they are all accessing the right services that they need. And I think last but not least, the other challenge I can mention is particularly for young people where drug misuse or drug abuse is still considered as a moral issue. So if I'm into drugs, it's a moral issue because no one wants to even understand why am I drinking, and everyone is like, no, you shouldn't be drinking. And I think it's time that we shift our perspective on that and be considering drug abuse or substance abuse actually as a public health issue and seek to understand why are these young people engaging in drugs?
And instead of blaming them, find ways to help them and understand them and reach out.
Yeah, because if you do not understand why I'm using drugs, you're not going to put in place an intervention that supports me.
Definitely.
So those are some of the challenges, and I don't know if I can dive into like what are the ways.
Please do briefly.
Yeah, briefly. So one of the ways we can actually start to support, I think, is it needs to start early. And by early, I mean in the family settings. So as a parent, how are you encouraging your child to share? Are you silencing them when they start talking about what's not going well?
Yes.
So because that stigma of or like the fact that we do not share starts when we are young, because we are not taught to share what's going wrong. And I think as we grow on a school setting, it's really important that schools put in place interventions that can help young people. And I'll give you a quick example. So right now at secondary schools, we do not have a counselor.
Yeah.
And which is problematic to my view. So
as an advocate.
yeah. I don't know, maybe there are some schools, but I don't know any schools
there are very few.
Yeah, there are maybe, yeah.
Because I'm sure at IPRC there is no...
Yeah, we have counselors.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's good, but I feel like the majority of schools do not.
Yeah.
So what can we do? I feel like we need to have a permanent staff dedicated to that. And we could start by working with young people who are doing psychology at the University of Rwanda. How can the University of Rwanda help us provide young people who can go do their practicum at schools?
Yeah.
We have the National Internship Program that could provide stipends, so the young people are able to actually do their work. They're able to get to schools. So, and that can start as a pilot project to inform the decision makers and prove to us that actually this is a needed service at schools. Yes. And I think we can dive into other, but those are the things
for
I can
now.
mention.
Thank you so much for that insightful message that you've given us. It's very important to understand that mental health exists, whether it is negative or whether it is positive, because that's the only way we can enact change and help these people who are possibly suffering from that, because they may feel isolated in society and they may feel like it may lead to different bad things such as suicide and also having suicidal thoughts, even though the act is not possibly put to an end, but they may have those thoughts. And what better way to stop that from even getting to that level than including them, making them feel like there is a place for them, helping them find purpose. And that's very true, and it all starts within the high schools providing counselors, which is very important.
Yeah, and I think if I add a small thing, it's important that we we validate our struggles. So
Yes.
just because I'm suffering with depression, it doesn't neglect or like undermine the other struggle that someone is facing. So we need to like we need to really validate our struggles, and also teach young people, equip with young people preventative measures or like healthy coping mechanism that they can use when they are struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, thank you so much. So let's move on to the upper studio yet again. We're going to be talking to Mr. Origen Igiraneza, CEO of Ogenius, which is an ed tech platform. So Mr. Origen, I would like to ask you, could you please weigh in on some of the ways that young people in Rwanda and also possibly all over the world, as we are being joined by so many people, how young people are leading change in their communities? It can be either in schools, it can be in the industry, it can also be in the local communities, because I mean charity should start at home.
Yeah, thank you very much. As you mentioned, my name is Origen. I represent a startup company called Ogenius Priority, which focuses on creating educational content to ease teaching and learning, focusing on science because of various reasons. First of all, the way students are practicing science, you find that it's very limited. Few people can access those resources. Thirdly, I will refer to the research that was made by UN recently. It was last year when they published it. They say that 78% of the world population, young people whom we are addressing today, believe in science, and majority of them they are coming from these developing countries, but they are taught theoretically. So the way they can drive change would be, first of all, how do we identify these challenges we are facing as an opportunity for us to grow? And that brings in a component of problem-solving skills, whereby everyone, despite of your background and things that you are going through, you can just think of a solution and start. You know, there is this thing that I would advocate for, which is think global, act local, whereby you can start with a solution which in a community that you can address, but again, think how far it can go. This is something that we have observed with our EdTech platform, which is not only being used by people here in Rwanda, but has also gone abroad. We have 10 countries across the world. I'm not going to mention only Africa. People in Australia, they have been using our content. So in a nutshell, what I would say is that for us as young people to be part of this bigger movement, there is a need to start thinking of the solutions. And for us to start thinking of those solutions, we need to go back on how we identify, how are we trained to get ready to scoop those opportunities. Don't come here and tell me that you identify an opportunity after your graduation. No, that's wrong. So it should start from a very grassroots level. 10-year-old kid, go there, try to learn how to sell something. Because afterwards, when he or she is able to sell, he would have learned communication skills, marketing skills, negotiation, and just to mention a few. And then depending to how we portray it, you move from, using it locally. You think of how can I go digital then and then sell all over the world.
Thank you so much. I really liked the point that you made. It's never too young to start something. You can start small and eventually things will grow, but have that mentality to want to start something to begin with. Thank you so much. So still on that point, talking about digital access and all, can you please let us know how has the emergence of digital technologies that are widely distributed all over changed the way that people learn, especially in the world of today? Now that we are having a COVID-19, how has digital technology as well as digital access changed the way people learn, changed the way people are doing things in terms of working? Is it in terms of studying? Is in terms of shopping? Digital technology has really changed. Could you possibly weigh in on that?
Yeah, eventually there are so many things that have been changed by technology, and if we didn't have technology currently, we could imagine the disaster would have happened to keep all the students, millions of students at home doing nothing. But thanks to the technology now, we are able to offer courses to students while they're at home. So some of the things that have been happening over time, you find that there are a lot of resources available outside here. And something that I would also give advice to people who are following us, majorly young people, they should develop a skill of learning how to learn. With all these resources that are available outside here, if you don't learn how to learn, you're probably going to miss out, because there are good information and bad information. So if you're not, again, focused, you will be driving here and there without getting to your purpose. So if you focus on learning and then find out your passion, and that passion make it as a currency to sell, and you start learning about how do I develop this. There are so many tools outside here that will develop you, will help you upskill your competencies. I would say for us at OGenius, we are focusing on bringing these class materials to real life, how you can apply it in real life, and then harness that component. But there are other international resources. You can think of Coursera, where you find a course about, let's say, marketing, about things like web programming, about graphic designs, about even writing content, because all these skills are needed outside here, and they would help you not only to, it's something that you can sell all over. It doesn't bring limitation. So if you build that capacity to learn, and also learn things that you can sell unlimitedly, then you're good to go.
Definitely. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Innocent, you as an IPRC trainer, you're always interacting with the students.
Sure.
How do you think digital access or digital technologies can be able to enhance the change that these young students can be able to enact in today's society?
Okay, thank you so much for the good question. I also appreciate Mr. Eugene for the good presentation he did. So in these days, in this digital era, there is no choice, either for the youth or adult. There is no choice. You have to adapt ICT. We have to adapt ICT in all aspects. So as a trainer in one of the learning institutions, we have different labs, we have different computers where the people, the students are going there to join and conduct their research. That is one of the way. There are other platforms that government of Rwanda initiated, like hubs like KLab and FabLab. Those are the platforms that was initiated by government of Rwanda to help the learners, the youth, the young generation to go there and conduct their research so as to make their ideas into final products. Actually, that's it. In addition to what Ms. Eugene has said about how the youth are leading changes in the society, as I described in the state of education, as example I highlighted for the innovation clubs we used to launch, we used to have in our campus, it is really contributing to the people around the campus. So to have idea, it is one thing. To make it work, it is another thing. When you look at the local communities, youth are leading the changes in their communities. Let's look at one of the platforms, NYC, National Youth Council, the youth volunteers. For us to come in our home, to reach here, you can see different youth with yellow jackets who are always teaching us, who teaching the old and wide, the best way to mitigate, to prevent this COVID-19. They are doing a great job. Look at the doctors and nurses who are giving their best, who are giving their lives to risk so as you and me to survive. Look at men and women at security uniform around the world. They are giving the best they have for us to live peacefully. In general, in all aspects, in all sectors, youth are leading changes in our society. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
So let's move on to our Skype viewers. Especially with us is the UNICEF Regional Director, Mr. Mohamed Fall. Thank you so much again for joining us. Digital access is one of the main focuses that Generation Unlimited Rwanda is going to be entailing as it is being launched today. How can digital access that will be provided in Rwanda be able to support the youth to be able to enact change?
Thank you so much. Allow me, first of all, before getting to the reply to your question, first to congratulate the young people of Rwanda, those who are sharing this panel with us, but at the same time, the entire young people of Rwanda for this great launch of Generation Unlimited and the chapter of Rwanda. I wanted to extend also this thanks to the government of Rwanda for its commitment and strong policy in favor of young people, but at the same time also the entire partner. We had the UN Resident Coordinator, but I'm sure that there is a wide range of partners who are supporting this initiative. Of course, I can't finish without thanking also and expressing our gratitude to His Excellencies, the President Paul Kagame, for being the global voice, the global champion of young people and Generation Unlimited in the global arena. And we witnessed it 2 days ago when he brilliantly participated in one of our big forums gathering the world leaders to move the agenda of young people. Let me just maybe speak to the question a bit beyond the boundary of Rwanda. I'm keeping my perspective of speaking from Nairobi as Regional Director of Eastern and Southern Africa. Before I get to the digital tool, I just wanted to highlight 3 things. I mean, the first one is the importance of young people in this part of the world and in Sub-Saharan Africa in general. If I take the 21 countries that are in Eastern and Southern Africa that we cover, I'm from our office in Nairobi. 1950s, this was 6-7 decades ago, this part of the world was just home of 80 million people. Today, which is 60-70 years after, we are talking about a population of 600 million people. And half of them are below 18. And if you go and define young people with an age that goes up to 25, you can say that 70% of the population are young people. But I'm not insisting on this dimension, which is more quantitative or demographic. But I want to see that beyond the demographic dimension, you have also this huge potential, extremely important for the development of this part of the world because of their creativity, because of their ability to innovate, because of their ability to embrace change. And we have seen it throughout this crisis and this pandemic we are going through. Young people are engaging with their community, are using any sorts of platform to make sure that they are part of the solution, they are part of the response to address this big challenge that we are facing. And one opportunity they have today to do it is the digital platform, is the digital era. It's a platform, it's an opportunity that they have that maybe previous generation didn't have, and it's an opportunity that can be transformative for this part of the world. And if today we want a development in this part of the world, we should not look at it in the underground wealth we have. We should not look at it in the mineral resource we have. We should look at it in the kind of investment we do on our young people. Using also this unique historical opportunity of having possibility to connect young people to digital platform. Someone earlier mentioned that how come that today, with a pandemic where the means of prevention is confinement, is taking social distance, we still remain connected as maybe even stronger than before. It is because of the digital era offers this kind of opportunity. How come that school has been disrupted for several weeks, several months? Workplaces, workforces have been disrupted, but still business is continuing. Still learning is continuing. It's because of the digital platform. Now, once we invest in the digital platform, one thing we should look at also how we can address the divide, because we know also that digital platform, digital opportunity are there, but they are not there equally for everyone. Sometimes some have easier access to it. Sometimes people have maybe cheaper means of access to it. How can we make it in a way that there is no fracture, there is no divide between the different category of young people, regardless if they are in a refugee setting, they're in rural area, they're in urban area. How can we offer that opportunity as a common platform to every young people? There are initiatives that are taking place now in which the international community is working, and I'm sure is strongly connected to the GNU in Rwanda. One is what we call GIGA, which is how can we make sure that all schools have access to internet, all schools have minimum of power that enable them to be connected. How come that we use our partnership with the mobile network operators to make sure that the price to access to those technology will not be something that maybe can use or favor some group of young people and not others? How can we give equal chance, equal opportunity to young people belonging to different settings to have those kind of opportunity? How can young people today being like the major drive of the workforce in Africa? We are saying that in the 21 country of we are witnessing that every year 12 million young people join the labor forces, which is translated into a day, it's 35,000 young people knocking to the door to the labor market every single day in this region. The classical way of offering job, which is based on sitting in office, which is based on some certain setting that we were used to, will not offer those kind of opportunities. The digital space offer market, and you have mentioned it, now e-commerce, e-learning, access to skill through digital platform, doing business using these services. Those are the opportunities that are wide, and for me, that can serve the young people of this part of the world, mostly in a country like Rwanda, where we have seen the commitment, the leadership, and the partnership that are there. Sorry to be a bit long, but just wanted to give this kind of regional perspective and all this data. Back to you.
No, definitely. Thank you so much for your insight. That was very amazing. Also, speaking from your perspective as a regional director of UNICEF, could you please share some of the solutions that you have seen young people from all different parts of Africa bring to the table concerning challenges that they face in their communities?
First of all, I think you have seen across the continent a growing spirit of citizenship.
Yes.
Which is not maybe expressed in a way that was the way we were used to maybe 2 decades ago or the time of my generation. But you can see that they have invaded the space of the digital space to express their view. And we have one experience which we call U-Report. I remember it was created part of this region as an SMS platform where young people can exchange information, they can voice their concern, they can make sure that those who make policy or make program hear what they want and listen to their aspiration. I think that's a platform that was growing on and that was widely, I think today it connects over millions of people. I remember when I was country representative in one big country of sub-Saharan Africa like Nigeria, we had already close to 3 million people. In this region of Eastern and Southern Africa, today we are talking about over 2 million children or young people who are connected through this platform. And this platform is not only for them to hear their voice, it's also to be at the service of their community. Like for example, when you have a pandemic like the one we have today, there are means of prevention such as social distancing, such as hand washing, such as wearing masks, such as, recognizing what the symptoms are, and when you start feeling the sense of what you should do. And the young people are massively using those kind of platforms to contribute to the information and to the dissemination and to the engagement and the mobilization of their community as part of the response to the COVID. We are seeing also, in terms of learning, the digital space offering huge opportunity. We have, I mentioned earlier, the connectivity and the connection of schools in Sub-Saharan Africa, for which we are partnering with other international partners like the International Union of Telecommunication, through which we are bringing also some mobile network operators to make sure that at least the price of connection are reduced and are affordable to the community, including those that are the most vulnerable. But I think the point I wanted to mention also here is that we are creating a hub of distance learning. We are creating a passport which allow curriculum of countries to be developed and to be positioned in a digital center which will be accessible to everyone. Lecture, lesson that could be developed by maybe the best of the teacher we have, and that can benefit beyond the specific or physical context of or location where that teacher or where that lecturer is. Those are also opportunities. And we are seeing also that this is an opening of and a breaking of silo that we used to have. Education used to be something that you do in a classroom with the teacher standing in front of you. Today, with the digital space, you can access to skill, access to knowledge, increase your employability without being maybe between four walls of a classroom, simply because you have the technology that help you to access to those platforms, that help you to access or to acquire those skills. And the skills you gain, you can also market them in space that exist. We have, for example, what we call youth marketplace, where not only young people acquire skills, but they can also monetize their skills into cryptocurrency, into currency that can help them to access to livelihood. Those are many opportunities that I'm sure Generation Unlimited will bring, that I'm sure that will be an agenda that will be rolled out in the context of Rwanda, and I'm sure that Rwanda is going to set the path for the rest of the country in the continent. And we have seen it recently in so many initiatives like Youth Connect or initiatives that are linked to the digital era, on which not only Rwanda is doing so well for its youth, but Rwanda also is helping and is inspiring, is setting the blueprint for the rest of the country of this region and for the rest of Sub-Saharan Africa, showing them the way on how to transform the demographic number and the big number of young people into a dividend for the future and for the development of Sub-Saharan Africa. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohamed Fall. I liked the part where he said you do not have to be physically there to acquire the skills and knowledge that you may need to enact yourself and also be able to acquire the skills as well as look for the job opportunities that are out there. Thank you so much, Mr. Mohamed Fall. We would also like to welcome again Honorable Minister of Youth and Culture, Rosemary Mbabazi. Thank you so much for being with us again.
Thank you too.
Yes, so what does Generation Unlimited Rwanda chapter build on, and what new services as well as programs can young people expect from it?
I want to take this opportunity thank you, moderator. Yeah, for the studio. You're doing a job.
Thank you so much.
I felt like just to not say anything, but just there's a lot of exciting ideas. And as you said, we are planning.
Yes, now I can hear you. You can continue.
Okay, I felt a lot of echo. So I was just saying that this opportunity to thank our leaders for spearheading this good program, which is also built on existing initiatives like the regional director for UNICEF has mentioned. We are building on the strong leadership and the strong will of our leaders to ensure that the young people, but also given the platform to ensure that they do what they can do best. Yes. As you rightly ask, this program is a partnership between the UN family and also the government of Rwanda. The partnership with the civil society, with the private sector, and also for the young people. That's why we have the panel out there speaking their mind and also speaking about the innovations. So what the Generation Unlimited is going to focus on in Rwanda as we launch today, we are looking at mostly how do we enhance secondary education and skills. That is mostly looking at how do we have more young people transition from primary to secondary and from secondary to tertiary education. That is going to TVET or vocational training so that they can have hands-on skills that is required in the labor market. So this is a partnership with the Ministry of Education and UNICEF with other partners as well. The second one will be focusing also on school to work transition. We know that there is a slow transition between, for the young people from school to work. The workplace, how do they transition as quick as possible? What kind of skills they need right from the chairs of the school that they can enhance or they can really have immediately so that they can fit in and adapt to the work environment. The third program is going to focus on youth entrepreneurship and self-employment. And we have examples in the studio of young people that picked on the challenges that were existing in the community and they started innovating and they have now created their own jobs. Examples of the EdTech that we had from there and others that we have in the community. The fourth is creating decent jobs. As you are all aware that government doesn't create a job, but just provides an enabling environment that ensures that jobs are created and supporting the private sector to ensure that the jobs that the young people and which are relevant to what the young people have studied, that is connecting school and the labor market or the industry. Last but not least is the young people's participation and civic engagement. I think you rightly mentioned that they need the right mindset. What kind of mindset do they need? They need a mindset that says, I can do it. This challenge is not for someone else, it's for me. That procrastinating that you've been talking about, postponing everything that will be done by someone else, I will do it tomorrow, should be I do it today. I do it today because today is my day. So it's a current generation, but also paving a way for the future generation. So most of the program that we'll be focusing on is on entrepreneurship, employability, skilling as well, digital literacy so that you have digitally literate young people, because all the discussion you've been having in the studio was focusing on how do we leverage on technology. Technology is already at hand, is already here. And we're so delighted that our country has invested heavily in connecting our country. We are connected majorly in, everyone is connected, at least you have no excuse, no challenge to say that you're not connected, and young people are connected. We are focusing on more rural connectivity so that they can have access to content of education, but also for those in entrepreneurship, sell their products online, that is e-commerce, like it was already said. How do you promote your product for someone else to buy it or to appreciate it? There is a lot of opportunities that in this program that is going to be put forward for the young people to pick up and fit in. We also have this partnership where we're going to expand and have platforms that will engage young people to see everyone what they can do. We are here to support the young people, to complement them, to see what they are capable of, and we are here like anchoring them to see that they can do what they are capable of and they're willing to do. So thank you very much. I also want to appreciate the regional director for the kind words, but also for the great work you're doing at the regional level and supporting Rwanda as well. Over to you, Martin.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, and we're very appreciative of the support that is provided from the government as well as the private sectors. So lastly, could you please offer some advice to the young people out there who possibly believe that they are not the youth to enact the change but are waiting on the others, especially the fact that mental health does exist? How can we be able to encourage our fellow youth to believe that they too are part of the change that should be enacted in society today so that we can better our tomorrow?
The advice, I think, has been provided by the young people themselves at the studio, but I can add on my voice as well.
Yes.
I would say that you are a generation that has all the support at hand. Our generation never had the support that you have today, but they managed to pull out something that you are enjoying today. And I believe that with the opportunities at hand, it is the young people to see the opportunities. Unless you have the will We have a proverb in Kinyarwanda that I can loosely translate in English, that where there is a will, there is a way. Whenever you have a will, there's always a way to do it, to make it. So I want to add the young people to have the will, to always feel and have the urge to have a legacy. What do you leave behind? Because you will not stay forever, but there is a time frame where you will be staying, but you have more time to stay in this world than us adults. And what are you going to be remembered for? That what did you solve? Did you solve, or did you become of help during the time of difficulties like COVID now is a challenge that you have as a community, as the world in general. But what did you do to help solve this challenge? Not necessarily for finding a solution, for maybe a vaccine, maybe that's a bit too much for you, but how are you helping to make sure that people are preventing, or you're helping in the spread, not spreading the COVID-19, like we have the youth volunteers countrywide that have been helping, helping people to adhere to the rules of preventions against COVID-19. Others are into agriculture, transforming agriculture in their own communities. They're bringing solutions. I've been seeing them selling tons and tons of a lot of products from agriculture, processing them. There are those in tourism as well that are doing a great work. There are those in ICT that have been doing products and prototypes that are helping right now in curbing the COVID-19 spread, but also are helping in providing content online for young people in holidays who are also at home, not to say holidays, but who are at home, who are not going to school, so that they can keep busy but productive. So I would want to say their platform, their time, their opportunity, their future is now. So you have to act now.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. I'm sure that was very insightful, and we have definitely learned a lot. Thank you so much for weighing in, and we hope you are still with us. Wow, I've learned a lot.
Yes, I'm still there.
Yes. So without further ado, let's dive into another Art Rwanda piece. Let's also take a look at how the young people of today are using the creative industry to be able to enact their own change. Take a look.
Kuchi. Why? Mfite byinshi mu mutwe wanjye nabuze uko ngenda mbura uko ngenza ndibaza nti ubu ibyacu tubite byose cyangwa tubigosore dusiga ibyiza ndabona hari turera abajeyi ndabona tujenjekera abajura bo batujora batujijisha batwara ibyacu baduha ibyabo twe twita ibyiza kandi ntabyo kuki mbese ndeba nka mbega urubwa iyo numvise ibyaduteza urubwa ngashengurwa n'ibishegu nkicwa n'ishavu babishima cyangwa bashamadukira ibidashinga. Well, my generation is falling down with the bucket down, thought they are winning in a bad manner, smoking become their dinner, chatting without sleeping, no learning but studying how to know themselves, how to destroy their life, their future, their character. And I, asking myself, why? Because what I see, aho imyenda ibura gihahwa amakoma agashira mu rutoki bamwe bakambara sentire cyangwa ubusa buri urungano rwose rukabishoka aho gusinda ari good vibes no gusambana biri simple aho gutekereza ari ntabyo twitorera ibyo dutojwe. Is it? In nowadays the bad things can't be seen. Blue has changed into green. Truth has hidden like water in the garden. My people, you have to listen. Listen. Listen to me and tell me why. I see drugs become the best verses of the song. I see alcohol holds the chorus of that song. And I see having sex is sexy like dancers of that song. But guess what? Now the song is hitting like Samoya does. None se. Nanje. Nk'urumogi rungire nka zezenje. nk'inzoga nyinshi mbe nk'agakwege nanirwe no kwigurira agatenge aho nyuze hose nitwa ikiburabwenge. Why? I am still asking myself why. Iyo mbona umukobwa tungana mwiza cyane waba na misi cyangwa umusore rudasumbwa ariko ugasanga asa n'umusaza mbese asaziye mu businzi intsinzi ntayo arisa gihobe arasa nk'uwasunnye kugira icyo akora akayoga kamugiza akazizi naho agatabiwe n'akotsi ahora ari swing cyangwa high. Is it? Why? And this is killing softly and slowly. It's a business of spending, no gaining. For real. Brings happiness that hurts. Why? None se. Iyo mbona umwana wa 14, wa 11 cyangwa 9 y'amavuko arimo kubyara uwundi mwana nibaza nimba uburera ahabwa ataranatora ibyo murabyumva azabutoza uyu uri kuvuka bikandenga ngatangara nkanibaza byinshi muri nge rwose. The repeated question, why? Because I am still seeing the bend of a generation. No action, no direction, no selection, no attention. With questions, because all of these are going to kill them. And soon, we are going to lose our unity, our humanity, our dignity. When the hari nasaze, maybe ninje musazi usari ino utazi bigezweho. Gusa uyu munsi ndabona rwose nasaze, ariko umusazi nawe arasara akagwa ku ijambo. Reka nkubwire, nihazagira uzagushuka agushukisha kashi cyangwa ikindi ngo akujyana ahandi ugiye gukora ikindi utapanze cyangwa utahanze, wenda ashobora kukujyana i Burayi ukaba akabwera, cyangwa se akakujyana ahandi hose ugapfa ugahwera, ugasanga ya sosi yawe nziza wahoze utetse arayihiritse maze yose iramenetse, ugasigara wibaza uti kuki. Karine, poet.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright-breasted day, the dark, sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty, the sky, or also the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're saying, I love you. His baby is crying, oh my God, I want them glow. Yeah. They run much more than I never know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful, what a wonderful, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful
Thank you so much. Come on. Come on, let's go together. Don't worry, baby. Come on, guys, let's go. Here's a little song around. If I'm gonna sing it now, but no, don't worry.
Don't worry.
Be happy. Be happy. And now that we have some truth found, but when you worry, you make it about. Don't worry. Don't worry. Be happy. Be happy. Worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Ain't got a place to lay your head. Somebody come and take care of it. Don't worry. Oh, be happy. And let us say your rent is late. You may have to give it again. Don't worry. Oh, yeah. Be happy. Come on, let's go, guys. Don't worry. Listen to this. Ain't got no style, ain't got no dash, ain't got no style to make you right. Don't worry. Be happy. 'Cause when you worry, your face is wrong. And that will bring everybody down. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Be happy. Come on, let's go. Don't worry, be Let's go one more time. Let's go. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much, Art Randa. I wish I could play an instrument. That made me want to play an instrument. But thank you so much. That shows how much our artistic and creative industry has grown. And what better way to show that by celebrate that as we also celebrate the launch of Generation Unlimited Randa. And we are trying to build a limitless and an unlimited generation. So that's really amazing. So we would also like to rule in our audience members from WebEx. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for weighing in throughout the panel discussion, as well as the insightful messages that we had from the Regional Director of UNICEF, as well as Honorable Minister of Youth and Culture. Are we together with Pascaline Omulisa? Okay, I'm guessing she's not yet with us, but as we wait for her, personally, I learned a lot from our elders, and we are the youth of today, and we are trying to lead our future. We're trying to lead our country, Rwanda, as well as different youth out there all over the world who are trying to be able to take their country to greater heights. What was one of the things that you picked from their message that they gave us? You want to start?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. What I got is that this is our time.
Definitely.
Our turn to shape the future we want as the youth. They have been knowledge in different things, but as youth, we need to learn these three things. ICT at the first place, TV to know regardless of your profession, know to do something. The last but not the least, communication skills. It has to be empowered for any person. Let's say you learn how to do different things. You learn those professions. You have been taught to talk to the machines and equipment and tools, whatever. But you will also need to buy yourself, to express yourself to the local communities. So we'll need that communication skills so as to sell your ideas. So as to sell your ideas in order to gain supporters, to gain financial supports, so as to come up with brilliant ideas and products.
Definitely, communication skills are very important. We need to also be able to communicate with each other so that we can help each other as we tried to build a better future and society. Yes, so back to our WebEx audience, we are pleased to be joined by Roberto Benes, who is the director of Generation Unlimited from New York. Please weigh in. Would you like to say something? Okay, sorry about that. We're having technical issues, but let's continue with our panel discussion. Let me go on to the studio up there. This question goes to you, Mr. Boris Karenzi. So you as a student at Kagarama Secondary School, you're still and currently acquiring the knowledge and skills that you will need to be able to look for opportunities that are out there in society. What skills can young Rwandans work on in improving and leveraging the virtual platforms that are out there? And also, what are some of the opportunities for the young people to be able to go out and seek so that they can be able to look for the opportunities that are out there, as well as improve their skills?
All right, thank you. First of all, there are hundreds of opportunities. There are a lot of things out there that we as a younger generation, but then we don't know that they're there so that we utilize them. One of the problems is I am young and I am grounded. I am young and they don't know that I am able. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the opportunities that are out there. If I'm able and I'm capable to do them, I can go out there. I'll give you an example. Let's talk about Art Rwanda Uhanzi that has performed for us today. It's not that in school what we only go out there to study is me being a doctor, me being a nurse, me being different high posts where I can earn a lot of money. No, you can still follow your passion. You can still get an opportunity, acquire skill in different camps, maybe. You can still go out there in the clubs at school and then perform. Who knows where it will take you? Who knows what will benefit you, what will bring you income? But then if you are a teen or you are a youth seated out there, do you know what you're capable of? Do you know your potentials? That is what will let you know what I'm going to do under the field of work out there. But then if you're so reluctant and dormant for you not to think of what is proper for you and what your potentials portray you to go, then that is when you'll not acquire the skills, and that is when you'll not properly perform in the field of work. But then talking about job opportunities, the vital ones, yeah, there are a lot of them. There are millions of them out there, but then it's on us to know how we are doing it, on us to know how we are coping up with these things. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Boris Karenzi. That was very insightful. And I also like the fact that you said we should be able to look for these opportunities. We are young and we are able, and that is one of the most important things that we need to understand. And precisely, if opportunities do not knock, please go and create your door, which is one of the things that we need to understand. So I've been told that WebEx is back on track. Yet again, we are pleased to be joined by Roberto Benes, who is the Director of Generation and Limited and is currently stationed in New York. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Roberto.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being with us.
Fantastic. First of all, let me thank you for being part of important event, this important celebration. And I also want to thank All Rwanda for an example for the world as one of the first countries to launch Generation Unlimited. We are so happy that this is happening because we've been following Rwanda closely in the last months and years since the launch of Generation Unlimited. And I know that there is a tremendous work that was put into creating this agenda and building already on the tremendous commitment of His Excellency President Kagame for young people in the country. And having young people present at this event is precisely the illustration of the potential of Generation Unlimited, ensuring that nothing is with young people, for young people without young people. And none of this would have been possible without the visionary leadership of His Excellency the President Kagame. Not just for Rwanda, but also for the world, because he's one of the global co-chairs of Generation Unlimited since the beginning. When I was in Kigali last year in October during the Youth Connect event, I could see firsthand the leadership and the commitment of His Excellency, and directly interacting with young people and convening inspiration and hope, not only for Rwanda, but for the entire country. And I also want to recognize the leadership of Honorable Innocent Babazi, always at the forefront of Generation Unlimited in Rwanda, and always an example for other countries in the region, and other honorable ministers as well, private sector partners, the United Nations family, civil society, and young people. This is an example of how an entire country can get together around its most precious resource, its children, its young people, its new generation. And this launch comes at a critical time. Not only is the world population, and perhaps as we heard from the panelists, also young people are faced with deepening challenges as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. But this also shows that we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity of using the innovation that is there, the connections that are there, the energy that is out there, and also the attention to young people that is out there to turn a challenge into an opportunity, and ensuring that we can work together to have all young people connected to the internet, all young people connected to digital opportunities for learning, for skilling, for remote work, for livelihood, using the latest technologies. Earlier this week, the United Nations Secretary General convened world leaders around this message through Generation Unlimited. And there was an important call for action to global world leaders to connect every child and young person to the internet and to opportunities for modern education. And His Excellency President Kagame was one of the most prominent leaders speaking, and he delivered powerful and inspiring words on the need of investing in the future of young people, and highlighted the unstoppable positive impact that young people can have on the world. We want to use this word, and we want to use your launch today to inspire other countries to follow. In other countries, Generation Unlimited, like in Rwanda, will help accelerate investment and public-private partnership to scale up good programs and solutions for young people. This is what we do in country: accelerate scale, accelerate opportunities, but also create new opportunities for young people to come together, to reflect on their challenges, to use their creativity and innovation to find the best possible solutions for what are the challenges that they have, but also to realize the dreams that they have. focusing on education, empowerment, entrepreneurship and employment, mental health, as you said, and young people. This is what Generation Unlimited is doing by creating a society-wide platform. And again, Rwanda is an example. So we are following you with a lot of admiration. We are following you to spread the message of what you are doing to other countries in the region and in the world. But also we are following you with a lot of appreciation for your capacity to bring together an entire society around the most beautiful element that we have in the world: human capital, human being, and the youngest people at all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Robert Benes. That was very insightful. And creating opportunities is definitely something the youth need to think about so that we can come together and be able to better our society. Thank you so much. So that was very insightful. Now, before we end up our very, very amazing Generation Unlimited launch, and before we hear the congratulatory message from the Executive Director of UNICEF, we would like to give the opportunity again to our Honorable Minister of Youth and Culture to give us some closing remarks. So we're having some technical issues as they sort that out. We have a congratulatory message from the Executive Director of UNICEF, Ms. Henrietta Fore. Please take a look.
To President Kagame and all Rwandans, congratulations from your friends at UNICEF for launching Generation Unlimited in Rwanda, a huge step forward for young people across the country. The GenU partnership is unique. It marks the first time that the public and private sectors have joined forces to tackle a global crisis, a generation of young people lacking the skills, training, and education they need to succeed in the global marketplace. In Rwanda, for example, the country's industrial base is growing, but young people aren't always getting the labor market skills they need to be part of this growth. Under President Kagame's leadership, the government is taking action, investing in technical and vocational education and training, supporting graduates with startup tools so they can create businesses of their own, and today, joining the GenU partnership. Through the partnership, the government and private sector in Rwanda will work together to identify and scale up innovative solutions that can deliver skills, training, and education more effectively, from online platforms so young people can access training from a distance, essential during the time of COVID-19, to investments in tools and programming that help build the 21st century digital skills that businesses need today, to mentoring, job shadowing, entrepreneurship, and job matching programs. GenU is a true partnership because government investments, policies, laws, and programs can only go so far. They need the innovation, ideas, and ingenuity of the private sector to help us. GenU is a win-win for businesses who need a well-trained, skilled workforce, for governments who want to create economic opportunities and national growth, and most importantly, for young people. They are the future of every country. And today, Rwanda is taking another important step to support them. UNICEF is proud to be taking this journey with you. Let's continue creating new avenues of opportunity for young people. Let's give them the tools they need to build better futures for themselves and for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Executive Director of UNICEF, Henrietta Fore. We are very excited that Generation Unlimited is finally launched in Rwanda. Now, like we said, we are closing up. We would still like to give Honorable Minister of Youth and Culture the closing remarks. Please do that briefly in 1 minute. Thank you so much for being with us yet again.
Thank you very much. Apologies for that, the hiccup that came up. I really want to take this opportunity to thank you, thank all the partners, to thank the young people for the exciting ideas that they have, to thank everyone who has contributed from the UN family and also from the private sector. I just want to conclude by mentioning one of the challenges or the questions that you asked me earlier about the wellness of the young people or the mental health issues or the counseling services that we should think about. In this period of the pandemic, no one planned it and no one thought it would ever happen. So I just want to encourage young people to always think positive, think that the future is good, think the future is better, but you have to do something today. Protect yourself and avoid unnecessary movements that can lead to the contracting of coronavirus or the pandemic, but also use this opportunity to learn something. Use this opportunity to connect. Use this opportunity to have, at least to identify an opportunity. And what is an opportunity is a challenge that everyone is complaining in your community. Make sure that you bring the solutions that is needed and make sure that you implement it. Use your passion and do everything with your heart. I thank you very much. The government of Rwanda is here to support with all partners, and we are happy to see how you can unlock all the potentials you have. And you are able, and we believe in you. Our president once mentioned that you are not too young to take the responsibilities. The responsibilities at hand right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. We are very grateful for the support that is being provided by the ministry as well as the government and the different stakeholders. Thank you very much for the closing remarks.
Thank you very much too.
Yes, so I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who joined us for the Generation Unlimited launch in Rwanda. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my panelists. Thank you so much, Mrs. Arlette. Thank you so much, Mr. Innocent. Thank you also for those in the studio. Thank you, Mr. Boris, and thank you, Mr. Origen. You really brought this panel to life, and we're really, really grateful that you have what it takes to make the Generation Unlimited that we want in Rwanda. And we are very excited to see how you guys will enact the change that you want to see happen in the society, and I'm sure you have inspired so many people out here.
Thank you.
Yes, we'd also like to thank those who joined us via WebEx, Skype, and different platforms. We would like to thank Honorable Minister of Youth and Culture, Rosemary Mbabazi. We would also like to thank the UNICEF Regional Director from Nairobi, Mr. Mohammed Fall. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you so much for your kind words and your advice. We'd also like to thank the Director of Generation Unlimited, Roberto Benes, and our fellow youth from all over the world who took part in bringing the Generation Unlimited launch to life. We're really grateful, and we cannot wait to see the change that is about to spur from the insightful things that we've learned today. Thank you so much. We're really grateful. Yeah. So we have come to the end of the Generation Unlimited launch Rwanda, but let's not let the things that we have learned here stop here on TV or in this room. We want to see a better tomorrow. We would like to see that betterment being led by the youth of today as well as the youth of tomorrow. It's not too early to start your change, and that is what we would like to let you guys know. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Stay safe, and we pray that we are all going to make that change that we want to see. Bye-bye.